Good evening, fellow Tibetians. I welcome you to our today's broadcast. You're listening again to the voice of the TBC Royal Ambassador. My name is Olakunle Johnson from Nigeria. Today, the topic we shall be examining is your silence presumes your consent to be a slave. Your silence is presumed your consent to be a slave. We have heard for some times now a broadcast on the fact that scarcity is artificial. We've been able to understand that the elite has been able to take over the world by four-letter words: boss. And we have also made to understand that some of them build an enclave called establishment, where they exercise their authority and make every other person that works in such an establishment to obey their authority. They exert power in their establishment, therefore making every other persons that work in such an establishment to work under some people that are kept in certain position or the other. They determine when they resume work and when they go home. They determine when they are paid and when they are not paid. They also determine how much they must get or they will be paid at the end of the month. And so sometimes most of these elites continue to use their so-called workers or slaves in quotes without any plan to increase their wages. And in such a case, when such worker decide to keep mute, keep quiet without saying anything, it means that his current status is okay for him, is conducive for him, and therefore that means he has consented to continue to serve just like a slave without any say of what he's supposed to get as a pay at the end of the month. So today, it will be very expedient for us to hear or to go directly into our today's broadcast and understand what the admin is saying concerning this very topic. Your silence presumes your consent to be a slave. Permit me right now to share my screen with you so that we see what admin is saying concerning this. Okay, this is where we are. Your silence presumes your consent to be a slave. Right over there, we have a video which can be played at any time, but for the purpose of time, we will not be playing this now. Take note, contained with this video above is an Easter egg. I have mentioned on a couple of occasions within this blog that the bank we are partnering with is free from the control of elites. And the answer to how that is possible is stated within this video. Let them that have ears to hear, hears. The path that lays before you leads to complete freedom. What are we talking about here? You're joining the TBC community is a right step in the right direction. And the direction it's taking you to is the direction of complete freedom. So, listening to me today, I'd like to say congratulations one more time to you, because you are on your way to freedom. Not just freedom, to financial freedom. Not just the luxury of having enough money to do, to be, or to go whatever you desire, financial freedom. I am telling you, this path leads to complete freedom, even for the mind, the body, and the soul. What are we talking about here? The Billion Coin community is a community with a desire to lead you out of slavery to total freedom, complete freedom. It aims at giving you freedom in your mind, freedom in your body, freedom in your soul. Currently, you have been ensnared and completely you have been ensnared, and complete enslavement are with those that consent. This statement here is talking about that those that consent, those that agreed to be enslaved by the elites, will continue to get themselves entrapped, enslaved, because they chose to be silent. They chose to be contented with where they are. You're being part of this multi-generational breeding stocks of slaves. Most of you have fallen for the illusion that are free now, and that you are not a slave. Some of us that are listening to me, working for someone or working for the government, believe that you are free now, but that is not true. It is an illusion, and don't fall for it at all. That's what this one is saying here. This very statement says most of you are falling for the illusion that you are free now and that you are not a slave. I once said it to someone. They say civil servant. Because you work for the government, they call you what? Civil servant. What is the difference between a servant and a slave? It's the same. It's just grammar. A servant is a servant. So what invariably you are being called is that you are a government slave. So the elites are the masters of this stockade of slaves. Your freedom awaits you outside of this stockade. And it all begins with you finding your voice. When you are voiceless, then you are useless to yourself. You are prone to continue to be a slave for others. Hear me and hear me well. Many of you that have joined TBC have been suppressed by abject poverty your whole life and dare not look your masters in the eyes. My heart pours out for you. My heart pours out to you. Why? Because you are suffering, but you cannot dare to look at your masters in the eye. I know what you are as a living man or woman. The power and authority contained within you. We stand as equals. You and I as living men and women. I know who you are because I know who I am. We have chosen to take a journey together. But you owe me nothing, and our destination does not have to be the same. But let me advise, stay on this path with me for as long as you would like. We need to be on this path, be on board this TBC community together for as long as you would like to. Why? Because we have agreed to get ourselves out of poverty. This is your voice. This is you exercising your voice. And with that, you are out, you are getting yourself out of poverty, knowing fully well that the natural thing about this world is the principle of abundance, not scarcity. My desired destination will require the company of many, and so is yours. For you to get to that your desired destination, you need the company of others. You can't do it alone. Birth by those that desire the same. You will need those that desire the same with you, those that want to get out of poverty just like you. You have been on your master's path and you have been deceived. When you know the truth, no one will want to stay on such a path. Sorrow and despair is the destination of such. Do you recall making an agreement of indentured servitude to the elite? Most people will say no. That's where you have been deceived. In almost all cases, people have not entered into a formal agreement with the elite to be their property. In most cases, you have not entered into any formal agreement with any elite or your so-called bosses to be treated as if you are their property. But you find out that you are used as such. You are used as such. Even when you are not feeling fine, you are still under that obligation to continue until permission is given to you. There are many countries in Africa today that their retirees or the so-called senior citizens don't get their retirement benefit on time. Remember, they were used from their youthful ages till they become very old, maybe like 60 years, some more, and they are retired. Now, for them to have access to their retirement benefit, which is one of the motivating factors that makes so many people to want to do government work, to want to go into public services. And after retirement, the retirement benefit is not still accessible. Why? Because they have entered, though not formally, into an agreement with elite of such country to be treated as if they are property to these elites. From the elite point of view, let me tell you, why would a rancher formally make an agreement with a cow? Can you imagine? That's their point of view. Why would a rancher formally make an agreement with a cow, referring to the poor people as a cow here, while the elites are the ranchers? They see you and I as their cow. Why would they need to make agreement with you? The rancher could care less what the cow thinks. That is it. It doesn't matter. Imagine sometimes you see some of these uh, nomadic farmers, these Fulani people going and taking their cows for pastures. Even when the cow is tired of going ahead, they beat and go of mountains through the valleys just to go and eat leaves, green leaves, and then they continue till they get to any place they can have access to water. So the rancher could care less what goes through the mind of the cows. And that is the relationship between the elites and the poor people. The rancher is prepared to use force if necessary in order to milk the cow and eventually one day eat the cow. You can imagine. The rancher will use whatever force within his reach to milk a cow. They feed the cow just to milk the cow. And at the end of the day, ultimately one day, the cow will be killed. If only the cow understood the intentions of the rancher, then perhaps the cow would find a way to break out of the stockade. If only the cow could think and understood why and what are the intentions of the ranchers, one day perhaps they will try to find a way to break out and run for their dear life out of the stockade. But you are a living man or woman. You are created in the image of God. You are a Homo sapient. You can think, you can reason. You have the ability to choose. Therefore, your consent is required. Otherwise, benevolent forces will step in and protect you. That is the nature of creation. There is a thing known as lesser magic, where one hides the truth and its agreement in plain sight. And if you go along with it, then that equals your consent. There is nothing formal about it. Ongoing your silence on the matter will leave the presumption that you have consented to your enslavement. When you keep on keeping silence on any matter, like the scarcity in the community, scarcity in the nation, when you keep silence and think it is a natural thing, you keep silence, believing it is the way of life, then it is assumed that you have agreed to your enslavement. It is presumed that you have consented to your enslavement. And technology will allow the masters access to your mind and soul, on top of all the efforts they have extracted from your body already. Time is short. So short. We need to push back now on the agenda to get access to our mind and soul. The elite tries to read our mind and our soul in order to capture us and direct us the way they want. We can break our bodies away together. Together, we can get out of their stockade. Yes, it is possible to get out as an individual. And the man being interviewed within the video above achieved that already. But the technology has developed to a point that it could wipe out the benefit of a man, such as he has secured if society falls for transhumanism. Somehow, we must stop the transhumanism agenda, or certainly slow its progress down considerably for our sake. It's not our children that will have to deal with this. It's up to us now. The key is consent. The key is what? Consent. This is the article I promise you on the subject of consent. As explained in the video above, the agreement to consent is embedded within the symbol all around us. And especially within the movies we all watch, or they are at least available for everyone to watch. We consented to the event of 9/11 for about 40 years before we allowed it to happen. Not enough of us within the society go together to stop it from happening. You can watch this video here to see what I mean. Here in this, okay, you can click on that to see. This is a very important video. Don't skip over it. Click the link here. When you get to the blog, just look for the blog we are treating today, talking about silence is a presumption that you have agreed or consent to be a slave. Then you will see this very blog. It is a clever deception, and the allies are very patient as they tend to us. Here is the problem. As long as we keep using the money the ally created, we continue to consent. As long as you want to use the paper money they created, you consent. TBC is a bridge to go from their money. to our own money. Money conceived by a living man with the intent to empower living men and women with a valid mission to end poverty globally. Yes, it will take a lot of money to end poverty globally. So consider these questions. As a living man or woman, are you valuable? Think about that first question. Are you valuable? In your own opinion, are you valuable? Yes. Good. We agree on that. Are you more valuable than a pile of rocks? Yes, again. Good. We continue to agree. What if all those rocks were pure gold? Are you more valuable than a pile of gold? Perhaps you find yourself hesitating here to agree. Be it known, I will consider the poorest, lamest, untalented living man, woman, or child to be way more valuable than a pile of gold. I've based the TBC membership agreement on that belief. My belief is that my belief in that has made TBC real to me. Every member adds value to our TBC money. We each pledged our value as a living men and women on the TBC membership agreement. It is not the digital code of the TBC coin that make it valuable. We the people give our value to it. TBC is money of the people, by the people, and for the people. We are a large group of living men and women. If TBC was backed by gold, instead of being backed by all of you, living men and women, it will lessen its value, not increase it. But we have a lot of brainwashed people to wake up to that truth that will require a collective effort from all of us. I can't wake everyone up by myself. This is how we break free from the stockade we have been headed into. By walking, by waking people up, that is how we get free. You need to find your voice. I am willing to lead and forge the path ahead. I will do my best to keep your tasks as simple and each as possible. In addition to your agreement to take this path with me, you need to find your voice too. So those that oppose us will hear all of us. So we need to work towards that, actualizing the dream of the founding fathers of the billion coin. We are more valuable than gold, and therefore if we place value on our money, the TBC, that value remains because it's derived from collective agreement. I challenge you to really think about what have been written and what we have been talking about in this article. The more you think about the thoughts contained within this article, the more intestinal fortitude you will find in this journey towards freedom. Congratulations again. Thank you for listening to this very broadcast. Now I know that you know that it is time for you to break loose. You cannot afford to keep your mouth shut. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. A closed mouth is a closed destiny. Therefore, not today. You need to wake those that are sleeping up and let them know it is high time to get on board the TBC community. Make your own money on this platform. Be your own boss on this platform. Refuse to sign that informal or formal agreement to continue to be enslaved. See you at the top. Thanks for listening. This, once again, is a voice of the TBC Royal Ambassador. I believe you have gained one thing or the other from today's broadcast that will help you in this journey as we go ahead to build the community together and break free from the fetters and shackles of poverty. Thanks. See you. Bye. I love you.